Hey everybody, it's me, Undead Viking. I want to talk to you about this game. It's called Melee. Back in February, I went to Con of the North. That is my first and most beloved gaming convention. I went to it for the first time ever, gosh, I'm guessing 7 years ago, maybe 8, and I've gone every year since. They have been kind enough to put me in charge of the board game room, and so I host that every year, and I bring a bunch of my games, and I teach games all weekend, and we play a ton of different games with me and my buddies, and we have an absolute blast there. And before I get into the game, if you're ever in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul area, or can get there in February, I'd highly suggest going. But one of the reasons why I love going is because there's such a wild group of people there that I only really get to see mostly at that convention. And they are very near and dear to me, and they almost always come there and show me a game that I've not heard of, haven't heard a single word of, and I play it and I absolutely fall in love with it. And this year that game was Melee. I was taught this game, and it took about 5 minutes for me to learn, and I then ended up playing it for the next 2 hours. It is a game that takes maybe 10 to 15 minutes to play, and it is a game full of shouting and yelling and but like when you win, it's like you know, it is one of those type of reaction games for me that I absolutely love to play. So let me show you how to play Melee. It shouldn't take very long at all, and then we'll come back here and I'll talk a little bit more about it, and maybe convince you to put it, go out and get a copy and put it on your shelf so you can play it whenever you want to as well. Alright, cool. Melee. Alright, this is the game board for Melee. It is quite a small board, and you will play the game in a series of turns, and the game only lasts 4 turns. That's why they call it nasty, brutish, and short. The game is over relatively quickly. At the beginning of the game, each person gets 1 castle you can pick or randomly distribute, and each castle gets 1 soldier placed inside of it. They will get the rest of their tokens, which they can use to build up the rest of their forces. You don't have to use all the tokens, but you are limited to the number of tokens that you have. So, like, you only have, 2 catapults. You only have 2 knights, and you only have 2 more soldiers and 3 camps. Everybody has the exact same amount of units that they can possibly have on the board at any given time. You have this little card here that tells you the different phases of the turns. Spring, summer, and fall are all pretty much the same. During the spring, you do have the pre-setup, which I'll go over here in just a little bit. During the winter is slightly different. Normally you only have 1 action per season, but during winter you'll actually get 2 actions during that season. Each person will get a set of 3 cards. These are the 3 different things they can do as an action on a given turn. They can tax, which gets them 3 gold. They can do a move attack, which allows you to move an attack with any of your units. Pretty straightforward. I'll explain that as well. And then another action is to build. You can build and place any units you want in either the castle, an adjacent land, or in any occupied area. So if you already have a unit somewhere, you can place stuff there as well. Beginning of the game, you will have 15 coins. There's the coins over here. And you'll have that 1 soldier, as I said. And then, to begin the game, you will take this deck of cards. What this deck of cards is, these are special ability cards. So, like, special abilities like Battering Ram. The enemy castle gets only 1 guess when attacked by your soldiers. Normally, and you might be wondering, what does that mean? Well, combat is kind of, it's a guessing game. I'll explain that in just a moment. But, so this would be just special ability. Special ability, Toll Gates. Take 1 gold from 1 other player at the start of each season, so you can just get gold for it. Elite Soldiers. You elite soldiers can choose 0 with attack. You might be saying, what does that mean? I'll explain that once I show you how everything works. But what you will do is you will shuffle up this deck. It's a rather large deck of cards, and you will take 1 card per player plus 1 and set those up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so you take these 5 cards, and these will be the only cards, the special abilities you'll be able to use in this particular turn. So we have Castle Stores, I should say, gain a gold every season. Mountainous, when you attack into mountains, defenders only get 1 guess, and when they're attacking from mountains, your soldiers can choose 0. Forced March, your soldiers may move 1 extra empty area. fortified crops. Your camps can't be attacked with a choice of 1. And once these choices for combat, I'll explain it more. And here's that toll gates that I just mentioned. We get a gold. So you have these 5 units, 5 cards out, and then you have your units. And what's going to happen is each person is going to take a turn. They're going to make a bid. You determine whoever the first player is, and they're going to say either bid on either a card, or they pass, or they build a unit. So if, like, yellow can say, I'm going to build a unit, and they can take, a soldier, and they're going to build a soldier. That would be their turn. They'd pay the cost for that soldier, and then move on to the next. And the build is exactly the same. Knights are 6 gold. Soldiers are 2 gold, camps are 2 gold, and catapults are 2 gold. And so then the next person could go, maybe it's red, and they're just going to take one of these units just to show, and they're going to show that what their bid is. They're going to take, so you know that, and I'm going to bid 1 on the toll gates, like so, and so they can show that they bid that. Now, if somebody else wants to bid above that, they can't equal it. They have to actually increase the bid. And so, like, so if green wanted to bid 2 on that, they would take 2 gold coins, and they would put their green marker on it and say, there, I'm bidding 2 on that particular. And so you'll go around this way, either people bidding on special abilities or building units until everybody has passed. Once everybody has passed, if there are special abilities that nobody took, they're gone, nobody gets them. People take the special abilities they gained. If you somehow are able to get all 5 because nobody else bids on any of the other ones, that's fine. You get all 5. There's no limit to the number of special abilities you have. You are limited as far as building your units. You can only build in your castle. You can build outside your 2 castles in the 2 spots. And you're limited to only having 1 of each kind of unit in an area. You could not build another soldier in that spot. However, you could build a camp there, and you could build a knight there if you so desire. So you just only have 1 of each type of unit in the location. All right, so after all that is done, and I'm not going to show you like a full game, but I'm just going to show you how this works, basically. So each person then, you begin the first turn, each person will secretly pick 1 of these actions. They will place that face down in front of them, and everybody will reveal them. And starting with before you even do that, though, you actually have to bid on first player. So when you bid on first player, it's just like any other game. You show everybody the amount of gold you have is always common knowledge. If you have 9 gold coins, you have to say, I have 9 gold coins. Somebody can ask to see how much money you have at any time. But you show, I have 9 gold coins. And then everybody is going to take a number of coins, just like any bidding game. I'll use both their hands, basically. And then they reveal at the same time. Whoever bids the most will win that particular bid. Only the winner pays the money. You do not lose the money if you bid and lose. So you bid on the first player. Whoever is the first player, then everybody picks their action. They put it down in front of them, and then they turn the cards over. And so you'll go. So tax is really easy. You just gain 3 gold. Done. Bam. But gold is very important. Gold allows you to build more units and allows you to move and attack, because your soldiers are paid with gold. And so build, pretty straightforward. Just like before, you pay the exact same price unless you, for some reason, you have a card that tells you differently. And then you pay, and then you move, and you put those either in your castle, one of the surrounding areas, or like if you had like a soldier in the mountainous area, because you got there, you could build like that catapult in the mountains. You could do that right there. But normally you can only build where another unit already is. Finally, the big one, move and attack. The only way you can really win this game is by taking over territory, and most importantly, taking over somebody else's castle. Normally that's how you win the game. Otherwise, if after winter nobody else has taken somebody else's castle, then you have different winning opportunities, like number of areas controlled and so on and so forth. But regardless, so when you move and attack, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be taking one of your units, and soldiers can normally, unless you have a special ability that tells you differently, can normally only move. And then if there is another unit in that area, they then attack. Now, the order in which attacks occur is they will attack soldiers first, then the knight, and then if they happen to be at a castle, they'll attack the castle. So if there's multiple units in an area, say like there and there, in that situation, you'd have to fight twice, because you'd have to fight both the soldier and then the knight. Now, you don't actually fight catapults and camps. If you are in the area without them having any protection, you will take those over and just replace them with your own color. So in this case, we move that soldier into that area. The first person that's going to defend is the footman. Now, this is the entirety of combat. Each person, the attacker will show, and they'll say, I have 4 gold. And then they'll take their hands back, and then they will take a certain number of that gold, and they'll put it out, and they'll tell the other player, guess how much gold I have in my hand. And that they say, I think you have 2. You reveal, I have 1. Bam. I destroy the knight, or soldier, I give it back to you. I have to pay that gold. Now, I have 3 gold left. I'm going to say, I'm going to fight. Now remember, unless you have a special ability, you can't pick 0. You have to pick 1, 2, or 3. So then you'd go, I have 2. You know, then you put on, and the guy says, I think you have 2. You go, dang it, I have 2. If they guess correctly, you take your soldier off, and they are killed. That is the entirety of combat. That is how you win or lose. But in this situation, let's say he said 2 again, and I show I have 1. I would defeat his knight like so. And then, because a camp, unless you have a special ability that says differently, you then take those 2 and you'd replace them with your own color like that. Now, a lot of people are thinking, well, geez, that doesn't seem like there's a lot to it. But you have to remember, money is your lifeblood. And so you have to kind of think or outthink what the other person thinks you might want to do. Which means, like, if you're attacking, you're like, well, he certainly wouldn't pay 3 gold to attack because he needs that money later. And so you gamble it as 1. But then the other person thinks, well, he's obviously not going to assume that I'm going to pick 3 gold. So he's going to pick 1, so I better pick 3 gold. So that's that, what do you think, I think, you think, I think I'm going to do kind of thing. Now, there's a couple of different things that are different. If you attack a castle, the first thing you have to do is you have to kill the defenders. So there's a soldier that you have to defeat that, and then each castle is considered to have its own garrison. The castle has its own defense. You don't have to have a unit on there. They just get to defend. And when you attack anything in a castle, they get to pick 2 numbers. And it isn't one of the situations where they go, I'm going to pick 3. No, you're wrong. Okay, 4. Okay, yeah, you're right. So in this situation, if we had 4, like you'd pick 2, and the person could say, I'm guessing 3 and 1. And then you show you have 2. And so then you spend that 2. But now here's the trick, though. And this is kind of one of those things. So say I did that, and I defeat that soldier. And now I'm attacking the garrison. Well, I only have 2 coins, right? So I hide those, and the person defending the castle goes, I'm guessing 1 and 2. Well, bam, I'm going to lose, and that soldier is destroyed. That's the problem you get into, and why it is very tough to defeat castles, because of the fact that they have that extra guess when they're going to pick how many numbers. Now, when you attack somebody that is in the mountains, the same thing applies. Green moves in, they would get to pick 2 coins, because the mountain is tough to attack, and it is difficult to move in and attack somebody that is defending it. Catapults have an interesting ability. If a catapult attacks, let's say the catapult is here, and blue has a soldier and a camp there. If they attack with the catapult and you bombard this area, it destroys everything in that area. It's gone. So you've destroyed everything. Now, that might kind of stink because you might have wanted that camp, because camps give you extra income, but you can't choose not to destroy the camp. You have to destroy everything. And once a catapult has done that, it is itself destroyed as well. Normally, catapults only have a range of 1, but catapults on a mountain range have a range of 2. Now, you might think there's really not that much range, but this is considered another range. So you go, if a catapult attacked from up here, it would go 1, and then 2, and you could destroy a soldier that's sitting inside a castle. The interesting thing about knights, I'm going to show you this real quick here. The interesting thing about knights is knights can move and attack as much as you want. So if you had like 6 gold coins, let's say, and you never want to have the 5s because you have to actually make change. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you had a situation like this, and your knight moves in here and you attack. And say you hold out 1, they guess 2, you show 1, you defeat the soldier. You can then, and you take this over and replace it with your own camp. Now you can move again, and then the knight can move in here to attack. And so let's say, they guess, I'm going to guess 1 and 3, and then you show, and you have 2 coins. And so you'd say, okay, I defeated that one, and then you could press your luck, and you could say, I'm going to attack again. And then then you hold out, and you have your coins in your hand, you show I have 3, and you hold out, and you put your, and they go, I'm going to guess 1 and 3. You show 2, you defeated the castle. Since you just took over the castle, you won. Knights can move and attack as much as they want in your turn, but remember, the more you attack, the more money you run out of, and the easier it is for the person that you're playing against to guess what you are holding in your hand. That's it. I mean, that's the entire game. If nobody wins, you go through an income phase. You get your income. You get. You notice there's a couple of spots both here and here that will get you income. That gives you +1 for those locations if whoever is controlling at that time. You also get +1 gold for every camp that you have, and then plus any bonus you get for any special abilities like that toll roads thing I showed you earlier. You don't get anything from your castle. So if you don't have a camp, or if you don't have a special ability or one of these areas, you're going to end up having to use tax as your ability, to get gold. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to attack. So, as I said, you keep going. Each season, during the winter, you get 2 actions. You just pick 2 of the 3 that you have available to you. So, maybe like you choose to both tax or like you could like tax or build and attack. You reveal both of them and you do both of them at the same time. And so then when you do those actions, you will choose which one you want to do first. You could, build, obviously you probably maybe build a knight and then move an attack because you've built that knight and you can go take your shot at winning the game. But that's in winter only when you get 2 actions. If nobody manages to take over a castle, you do go, as I said, to the other possibilities. So at the end of winter, you have to, whoever has controlled the most areas is considered the richest and wins the game. If there are the same amount of areas controlled by 2 different players, then the person who has the most remaining gold then is winner. And then if that's still the same, and then it's the final turn order. So whoever was considered to be like the first player or the second player would win over the third or the fourth, or so on and so forth. So there you go. That is the entirety of the game. It doesn't seem like there's a lot to it, but this has a lot of depth and a lot of thinking and a lot of I think, you think, you think, I think type of situations that'll happen. And it is a heck of a lot of fun for a game with the very small amount of rules that there are for this one. So there you go. Let me talk to you more about Melee in my conclusion. Alright, awesome. That is Melee. That is this game that I love so much. If I ever did a top whatever billion games of Undead Viking loves so much, this would definitely be in my top 10. I can't imagine it not being. Basically, it's one of those things that, as a gamer, I've kind of progressed to a certain point. And, maybe 10 years down the line it won't be. But at this point, I've kind of progressed to a point as a gamer that... or board game or aficionado or whatever, I've gotten to a point where, I like games that don't take a lot of time for me to get into the meat of the game. I'm all for heavy brain-burning games, and I do enjoy those from time to time, but as I've grown older, I've found that I've had less and less time to actually devote to a big, giant 4-hour slog of a game. But a lot of time to devote to these types of games that I can teach to somebody very, very quickly, and then we can sit down and play. And it isn't a game that has so many different rules and so many different convolutions that, because I've played it, 2 dozen, 3 dozen times, I'm going to be better off than they are. No, it's a game that, everybody's kind of on the same footing, and then all of a sudden becomes a battle of wits and a battle of who can be kind of clever in the moment. And I enjoy that a great deal. Now, I'm all for a big 4-hour slog, and if I have an afternoon available, and you put a game of Dominant Species in front of me, or you say you want to play Madeira or something, I'm all for it, and I'm good to go. But if I'm sitting over my lunch break, or if I'm trying to just play a game quickly with my buddies as we're waiting for other people to show up to play D&D or something, this is the type of game that I look for. The best thing about Melee isn't the special abilities, it isn't the map, it isn't the simple rules or anything like that. It is the battle of wits. It is me trying to figure out what you are thinking of, what you are going to try to do, and what you're going to put in your hand when it comes to that gold coins. Now, you are going to lose so many battles. People are going to have 9 coins, and they're going to attack you, and they're going to put those coins in their hand, and you're going to go, well, there's no way he's going to spend 9, but he's, what's the most he's willing to spend on this? 5? 4? So like maybe 4. So is he picking 1? Is he picking 2, 3, 4? You have all those different options available to you. If they were lucky enough to get a card that allows them to attack with a certain unit with an attack of 0, it opens up another realm of the situation. Is he going to go with 0? I mean, why wouldn't he? If he goes, he's not going to lose any coins if he does that. But then that's what he's thinking. He's thinking, I'm going to say, why wouldn't he go with 0? So then he's going to do 0. He's going to say 2. But then now he's thinking, maybe I'm thinking, that there's no way he'd go with 0, and so then he's going to go back to 0. And you have that wonderful moment, the Princess Bride moment between the Man in Black and Vizzini saying, it's like, but you must have known what I've known about Australia, and so therefore you know that I clearly can't pick 2, but now you know that I clearly can't pick 1. And so you have that agonizing moment when you're defending, and you'll say, 3, and there is nothing more glorious than when the person sits there like this, and you go, 3? Ah, yes, 3, and it's so wonderful to see that reaction in the other person, and I live for that moment when I play this game. And the best thing about it, since it is so quick and it is so easy to play, that yes, you're going to lose more often than not. I mean, you're 4 players, or 3 players, or whatever, but you can quickly deal up the game and dial it in and play again and have another shot. And, and the thing is, the game would be just fine. You can play without the special abilities. But I think the special abilities add a lot to the game. And the thing is that you can go with all kinds of different strategies. I've had people play, and they've started off the game, first turn, I'll go whenever kind of thing. They've bought a knight, and that's it. They built a knight and set it outside, and they've got 9 coins, and they've gone for the win on the first turn. And they'll do it sometimes. They move and attack, move and attack, move and attack. I got the castle. I won the game on the first turn. That's happened a lot, and it is a very gutsy, very ballsy, for lack of a term, strategy. But it can pay off, and it can be a very glorious win as well. So, for all those reasons, Melee just is really, really, really a lot of fun. And if you like games with lots of, tactical thinking, but also a lot of, like battle wits thinking with your friends, then I really, really suggest that you check this out and pick up a copy for yourself. All right, cool. If you have any questions about the game Melee, please post those. I'll answer those to the best of my ability. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. I really appreciate it. And until next time, you have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right, bye-bye.